Joining me now, criminal defense attorney Arthur Aidala. You've represented some very high-profile, controversial defendants, Harvey Weinstein, Rudy Giuliani. How do you approach opening statements in a case when the jury knows your client and he's one of the most famous or infamous people in the world?
Well, Anderson, you try to make your opening argument as close as you can to your closing argument. It's almost like a summation. The first thing I would do here is I would listen intently, obviously, to the prosecutor's opening, and then try to pull something out of it. And my first line would be like, you heard what she just said? Well, let me tell you this, and then attack. You want to try to make a connection with those jurors. You want them to like you. I believe Todd Blanche is the one who's doing the opening. You want to make some kind of a connection with them, and you just want to attack. You can't believe Michael Cohen. You can't believe Stormy Daniels. And then you want to embrace yourself with the judge and what the judge's instructions are, and say, the judge is going to tell you this, and the judge is going to tell you that, and we agree. And if you listen to the judge, there's no way that they can prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt, and the only verdict you can reach is one of not guilty.
The prosecution, we're told, opening statement is going to be about 40 minutes, the defense about 20. Is keeping it short better?
It's a real strategic decision, Anderson, and you know, I know Susan Necklace, who's one of the attorneys here, and she's a masterful lawyer. I mean, I'm sure they've spoken about this. I'm sure they've vetted it. I'm sure they've done a little moot argument. You know, my approach is to really go hard in the opening statement. Years ago, the New York Times did a study, and jurors found that 80% of jurors found that whatever they thought the verdict was going to be after the openings was their verdict, 80%. So I look at opening statements as a tremendous opportunity to really sway jurors over to your side.
Arthur, just hold on. I want to get some more information from inside the court. What are you hearing?
So we don't have too many updates beyond just talking about, the burden of proof. And the judge is emphasizing that the burden of proof is always with the prosecutor. It never shifts to the defendant. And if that burden of proof is not met, the judge reminds the jurors that they must find the defendant not guilty.
Arthur, I know you've said that if you were on the Trump defense, you wouldn't be looking for an outright acquittal. You'd be aiming for a hung jury. How would you go about creating that shadow of a doubt in the mind of, at least one juror?
Again, you got to really look at the law and what the judge is going to say in the closing instructions to the jury. He just gave the opening instructions to the jury. But, we have a good idea as lawyers what the judge is going to say at the end. So you look at what he's going to say at the end and you bring it to the beginning, because it gives you so much credibility at the end of the case when the jurors hear again what you said at the beginning of the case out of the mouth of the judge, which they usually hold in very high regard. And again, you just have to attack those witnesses. And look, what you got to say is Michael Cohen should be a co-defendant. If you believe what the prosecutors just said, Michael Cohen should be a co-defendant, not a witness. He has so many reasons to lie, so many reasons to pin this on someone else, to keep himself out of jail, which he was unable to do in the federal case.
Michael Cohen is a felon. He is an admitted liar. Does the prosecution's case, you think, rise and fall with his credibility?
I think it has a tremendous impact. Look, there is paperwork that corroborates the people's evidence. And that's obviously hurtful for the president. But my understanding is it's not paperwork with Donald Trump's handwriting on it or his signature on it, except for a check. So the defense could merely be, hey, Michael Cohen did all of this. He never told his client. He just said, look, I need money for this, I need money for that. And, one of the witnesses who's going to testify at this trial testified for the feds, and he said that the money that was given to Michael Cohen was for Stormy Daniels and for legal fees.